Good morning, one and all. My topic of presentation is indication and prioritization of liver transplantation in low MELD patient. This is a very important topic because low MELD patients are the patients where the indication has got maximum importance, because once the MELD score is higher on higher side, so there is not much debate about how to proceed with liver transplantation. So being a very important topic, I am privileged to review this topic. I will be presenting my topic on this outline, what were the indications and what were the disease codes in pre-MELD era, how MELD was evaluated, and the limitations of the MELD, which will definitely give a clue about how to go about with low MELD patients. Low MELD patients, what are the indications? Few words about SCC, since inherently it is associated with low MELD, and prioritization of liver transplantation in low MELD patients, and the IL-based data obviously on the last outline. Coming to pre-MELD era, I will be have few slides regarding discussing regarding the natural course of the cirrhosis. This is one of the study which pioneer study published in 1987 in hepatology. 293 patients with compensated disease, they tried to see how they decompensate over the period of time, and they tried to see the outcome of decompensation also. So this first graph shows the several decompensations of cirrhotic patients, compensated cirrhotic patient. The most common decompensation is ascites followed by jaundice, and then hepatic encephalopathy, and then GI bleed. Once the decompensation happens, the survival curve sharply declines in comparison to the compensated cirrhosis. Coming to the natural history, I tried to extrapolate this history from 2 or 3 articles, good articles. The median 1-year survival in cirrhosis, according to the 4 stages, is 1-year survival is 99%, 97%, 80%, and 43%. Respectively. The 4 stages, stage 1 and 2 are compensated cirrhosis, and stage 3 and 4 are decompensated, depending upon the presence of varices, variceal bleed, and ascites. The annual progression rate of decompensated state ranges from 4% to 10%, depending upon the etiology of the disease. The one of the population study based study published in 2010, they have found that 1-year survival was 83% in compensated cirrhosis, and that reduces to 36 to 80% in decompensated cirrhosis. Coming to 1-year survival of various decompensation, which is not accounted for in MELD, I have extrapolated this from various studies. I found information on this, that is ascites and variceal bleed. 1-year survival is approximately, the median 1-year survival is approximately 51%. If the patient develops refractory ascites, it's 40 to 50%. Patients with spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, that is 37%. Hepatic hydrothorax less than 50%, and hepatic encephalopathy is associated with 36% survival. If the patient has got AKI or HRS, that get reduced to 35 to 40%. And patients with hepatocellular carcinoma, overall survival in absence of decompensation is 1 to 2 years. Although the increasing MELD score is very predictive of mortality and decides regarding need of liver transplantation, these factors, this decompensation, are not directly taken into account, though MELD score is surrogate marker for all these decompensations. Coming to the origin of the MELD, few words. It was initially discovered for patients undergoing TIPS, since there was inherent problem with CTP, which was subjective in nature, and subjective criteria like ascites and encephalopathy were there, and a failure to discriminate beyond albumin level less than 2.8 gram per deciliter, and bilirubin level more than 3 gram per deciliter. So the MELD score was derived from this cohort, in which they have found that creatinine, bilirubin, and INR has got maximum importance. And coming to the limitation of the organ allocation policy prior to introduction of MELD. Prior to introduction of MELD, there were only 3 categories defined. Most of the patients of CLD, they fall into status 2B category, and in which there are such a huge number of heterogeneous patients. Waitlist time was carried forward to the next category, and in status 2A category, no clear guidelines to demarcate for ICU admission. Coming to one slide over how the MELD allocation policy has evolved. Organ allocation policy changes has been evolved. In 1997, the prioritization was based on the CTP score. 1998, the final rule was given precedence. The urgency was given precedence over the reason or waitlist time. That is called final rule. In 2002, MELD was introduced, and prioritization was based on the MELD score. In 2003, the hepatocellular carcinoma was given exception MELD points, but at that point of time, both stage 1 and 2 were given exception MELD points. In 2004, stage 1 being a low priority patient has been excluded from that list of giving MELD exception points. In 2005, the exception point again was reduced from 24 to 22 because the SCC patient were given undue advantage for allocation as per the UNAS. And in the same year, SHARE 15 was introduced, which means the candidates with MELD score of more than 15, they should take precedence over the local candidates with MELD below 15. That means the regional candidate should be given preference based upon the MELD score. The exception points of MELD score, which we are going to discuss in detail, were given in 2009. Then SHARE 35 should be given preference over regional candidates with MELD more than 35 should be given preference over MELD below 35, even over the local candidates. That was in 2013. In 2016, MELD sodium replaced pure MELD without sodium calculations. And the latest modification came in 4A in 2018, formation of national level review board, which has changed the previous allocation system into exception points based on the maximum MELD at transplantation -3 paradigm. Coming to the MELD, as you all know, it has got several strengths and it has got impact over the allocation policy in liver transplantation. It has got, it's based on largely objective parameters, and the continuous scale is taken into account, and on the markedly decrease in large number of ties that were seen previously before MELD came into picture. The mean MELD at transplantation increased from 17 to 22 after MELD was considered in the allocation system. There was a 12% decrease in number of waitlist candidates within 1 year of allocation through MELD. The number of deaths decreased in from 2061 in year 2000 to 1300 in year 2005. So this is nearly 14% decrease. Okay. Then a reduction in waiting time was there, which was from 656 days to 460 days. So MELD has got its importance definitely, but what we are going to discuss is the limitations and how to decide about patients who has got low MELD score. So regarding survival benefit of the liver transplantation, according to the MELD, where the survival benefit of liver transplantation comes at what MELD level. So in one study published in 2005 in AJT, the overall mortality risk is 79% lower for liver transplant recipients compared to candidates who are on the waiting list. That the hazards ratio of transplantation that happens over before MELD 15 and 17, the hazards ratio of transplantation over the wait list mortality is higher, and once the patient crosses the MELD level of 15 to 17, then the advantage of transplantation is more than the wait list mortality. This is another study published in 2018 which depicts the picture of survival, the life year gained by transplantation according to the MELD scores. MELD scores 11 to 15, then the survival improves. Coming to the patients who has got low MELD score, but they are considered high acuity in terms of need of liver transplantation. So there are several decompensation which has not been taken into account in the MELD score, though MELD score is surrogate marker of the advanced liver disease. These are the ascites, refractory ascites, SBP, hepatic hydrothorax, encephalopathy, and HPH and PPH. And there are several exceptions, which is to the tune of 20 number of exceptions that has been considered by individualized by program to program. These are the exceptions, which are going to discuss in brief. Coming to the limitations of the MELD. Initially, MELD, the complication of portal hypertension were left out because the complication of portal hypertension when they were taken into the to predict the model, no significant impact was seen in C statistics when portal hypertension related complications were added. This was in the around year 2000. Hence, MELD was considered to be the best modality for allocation. Coming to the decompensations like ascites. In one study, liver transplantation 2011, year 2011, OPTN registry data, the major criticism against using ascites has been it's subjective in nature, and it's influenced by therapeutic measures. But several small studies in early 2000 showed that ascites was significantly associated with mortality and cirrhotics. Particularly, refractory ascites has 1 year a mortality of 50%. The moderate ascites identified in patients with low MELD score awaiting liver transplantation have a high mortality risk. This is a study in between 2005 to 2007. 18,000 subjects were studied in this in this registry study. What they have found is that ascites significantly added to the prognostic ability of both MELD and MELD sodium in 90 days mortality. As you can see, the hazard ratio is highest for ascites only, without considering other factors. So this is the increase in predictive ability of MELD score, particularly in patients with MELD score less than 21. And that is hazard ratio of ascites only is highest. Coming to patients in which the sodium level is normal, in those patients, ascites predicts the mortality significantly associated with increasing mortality in patients who has got MELD score of less than more than 130. That means MELD sodium score has got importance whenever there is hyponatremia. But when the sodium level is normal, probably ascites can give a good idea about the patients who need liver transplantation. Coming to the other aspects like hypoalbuminemia, which is not included in MELD. This is one study published in our year 2018. What they have seen is that albumin more than less than 2.5 gram per deciliter has got a hazard ratio of 2.4 in comparison to other parameters, which is very predictive of mortality in the waiting list. The effect was more marked in patients with hepatocellular carcinoma. Hence, the same group proposed a calculation of MELD, which included albumin, and what they have found is that this albumin was included. The use of this albumin added MELD score was estimated to reclassify 26% of the patients, and what they have proposed is that it can nearly 10% of the deaths can be prevented if this MELD score is taken into account. Coming to another aspect, that is sarcopenia, which has been discussed in several presentations here. So sarcopenia is also one of the factors which determines the progress of the liver disease, not exactly determines the outcome of the liver disease, and it has got importance in terms of the hazards ratio associated with sarcopenia in this study is higher than other factors like MELD score. Coming to the limitation of the MELD. So what are the standard MELD exceptions? The MELD exceptions are there because of the limitations, inherent limitations associated with MELD. The condition associated with chronic liver disease, which may result in impaired liver function, but not directly accounted in MELD score. And the patient who has got specific disease-related criteria, they need standard exceptions. These standard MELD exceptions were developed in order to accurately represent the patient's mortality risk. Coming to several studies which has been published on the factors which should prioritize those patients for liver transplantation. One of such study published in 2015 This is a large patient database study from UCSF, in which the low MELD score they have defined as MELD less than 22. So there is no such definition about low MELD. Obviously, anything less than 20 can be considered as low MELD. Some of the studies has seen MELD less than 22 as low MELD. In this study, they have included patients who underwent a DDLT and patients who were removed from waitlist, and there were clinical deterioration in the waitlist. MELD exception patients and patients who underwent LDLT were excluded from this study. What they have found is that these are the factors which are important to assess the risk of mortality or risk of delisting during waiting list. The factors which were protective were high BMI, that is the opposite of sarcopenia patients, and higher initial serum albumin level, and low listing for SLK, because they were listed in an early course of their disease, and these were protective factors. What were the factors which were deciding the list dropout? The cause of death in such patients these were the cause, and most of the causes were liver related or related to development of malignancy, that is SCC. So in this cohort, what they have found is that the cause of delisting and death is 87% is attributable to liver related cause. Another study published in 2020 which studied the patients with persistently low MELD sodium score, they continue to be at higher risk of liver related death too. In this study, which includes 7,922 patients, the low sodium MELD sodium they have included is less than 15. The number of patients is 3,900 patients. What they have found is 1 in every 50 patients persistently got low MELD scores will die of liver disease per each year. The majority of patient cirrhosis are in this category at the time of listing, that is MELD less than 15. The majority of patients with cirrhosis do not receive transplant despite low MELD sodium score. They succumb to complications which is related directly to the liver disease. Infection and malignancy again accounted for 55% of the deaths in this patient. The patients with presence of common portal hypertension complications were more likely to die of the liver related cause. So is there any need for other scoring system in patients who has got low MELD who will be otherwise disadvantaged from liver transplantation? So there are a few studies. One study published in year 2015, they tried to identify a new prognostic model to predict dropout from wait list in cirrhotic patients in liver transplantation who has got a MELD score of less than 18. They included ascites, sodium, bilirubin, albumin, and GFR. That is the score they proposed it Lirert score. They have seen that they have got a better discrimination power of Lirert score in comparison to MELD CTP and MELD sodium and MELD ascites score, which is 0.79. And they have stratified the patients into 3 categories. The patients with Lirert 15.6 to 15.9 and more than 15.9, both has got a MELD score which is almost at the similar level. And this is the stratification of their group. What they have found is that Lirert more than 15.9, the waitlist dropout was significantly higher than the post-LT mortality. So this is the graph. The expected dropout probability and increased dropout and the observed dropout probability, the correlation index was quite strong. And these are the risk stratification. And the patients with Lirert more than 15.9, they have got cumulative incidence of dropout rate which was maximum. Coming to the stages of cirrhosis, another factor which has been proposed to predict the need of liver transplantation or the mortality. And in this study, they have considered MELD less than 20 as low MELD patients, and cirrhosis stage was important. And in this study, the stages of cirrhosis they have classified in 5 stages. The 5th stage includes the varices, variceal bleeding, and ascites at the same time. Assessing the cirrhosis stage in low, what they have proposed, concluded by saying that assessing the cirrhosis stage in low male patients awaiting liver transplantation, they may help select out candidates which for aggressive monitoring or need of liver transplantation, that is live donor liver transplantation on extended criteria donation. That means patients with low MELD score, they can be better adjusted to the patient to live donor liver transplantation programs and the in-DC donor liver transplantation programs with marginal grafts or extended criteria grafts can be on the case basis can be allocated to those patients with low MELD scores. Another study which was done on to evaluate the decreasing to show the predictive value of MELD over the time. What they have found is that in view of medical management of liver disease, which has improved substantially, and new immunosuppression and better supportive therapies, they are enabling sicker and high risk patients to be eligible to receive transplantation, but not the low MELD patients. Again, antiviral treatment are reducing the viral disease burden and permitting the alcoholic liver disease, including alcoholic hepatitis, as an emerging indication for liver transplantation. That means there is a change in the priority of the patients over the period. In this study they have found is that the predictability of MELD score of 90-day waitlist mortality, which is determined by C statistics, has decreased over the period of time starting from year 2002 to 2016. Coming to what about the health related quality of life in patients who underwent transplantation and who has got low MELD score who are waiting on the transplant list. This is a very nice study of 940 patients. They have included SF36 and questionnaire for life satisfaction and patient health questionnaire. What they have found is that highest score uniformity in all categories of liver transplantation patients, and statistically significant better score in patients who underwent liver transplantation than in patients who has got low MELD and waiting in the liver transplantation list. The significant difference was noted in the questionnaire on life satisfaction between liver transplantation and waitlist groups. The lowest value in the scale of anxiety and depression were seen in the liver transplantation groups in comparison to the low MELD score group. So hence it may not be necessary that low MELD scores doesn't need liver transplantation, and they should be allocated or considered for liver transplantation depending upon the several indication decompensation we have discussed till now. What the concluded that liver transplantation patients has got a higher health related quality of life and lower anxiety and depression score, and the depression and anxiety score were significantly higher in patients with MELD less than 10 than in OLT group. In another study which considered all the decompensation in comparison to the MELD score to decide regarding the waitlist mortality and hence the indication for liver transplantation in these low MELD patients. This is a very large study base, 3,715 patients. Study population was divided into three groups with under MELD and MELD sodium scores. These were the three categories. All were low MELD patients. The group 3 being MELD more than 15 and MELD sodium more than 15, and stage 1 group 1 and 2 should be considered as low MELD patients. What they have found is that severe hypoalbuminemia, hepatorenal syndrome and hepatic hydrothorax confer the greatest risk of death, which is independent of MELD sodium, with a 1 year predicted mortality rate of all these three factors amounts to 14%. This is the predicted 1, 3 and 5 year mortality rate shown in each group. This is the group of MELD sodium less than 15, which has got the lowest mortality, but when we consider the patients on the basis of other parameters like severe hypoalbuminemia and moderate hypoalbuminemia 2, the hepatorenal syndrome, hepatic hydrothorax, these are the three factors, and to that extent, ascites also has got higher hazards ratio in comparison to the to maximum MELD sodium score. This is where the comparison between these factors and MELD sodium less than 15. As you can see, in low MELD patients, severe hypoalbuminemia and moderate hypoalbuminemia both, and malnutrition, that is sarcopenic patients, they have got a cumulative incidence function of mortality which is much higher than the MELD sodium would predict in these patients. At the same time, hepatorenal syndrome, hepatic hydrothorax and ascites, they are also more predictive than the MELD sodium score in this patient cohort. So this goes without saying that these are the factors which should be considered, like decompensation, like ascites, refractory ascites, hypoalbuminemia, hepatorenal syndrome, hepatic hydrothorax, and the sarcopenia as a better indicator for deciding regarding transplantation in the low MELD patients. Coming to another subset of patients, that is hepatocellular carcinoma, which is inherently associated with low MELD, though it's not universal. This is one of the most common standard MELD exceptions that has been awarded for hepatocellular carcinoma. The SCC exception policy has modified from time to time, which we are going to discuss. Initially, exception points were awarded to SCC, which led to significant increase in proportion of the patients listed for SCC. There was a period where the patients who were listed for SCC, there were a significant jump in proportion of those patients. So what was the basis of giving exception points? Patients who meet the criteria for liver transplantation have a post-ALT survival that is not worse than other patients, and many patients with SCC will not have decompensation, and they will have a comparatively low MELD, and hence would be disadvantaged if we don't give MELD exception to those patients. So this is the allocation policy for MELD exceptions for SCC, which has changed over a period of time. Initially, it was the 29 exception policy were given. During this period, there were a significant increase in proportion of patients with SCC being listed and disadvantaging other patients who has got higher MELD and high acuity patients. Hence, there were modifications in subsequent years, and in the latest year 2015, the listing is which is being followed right now is natural MELD score at the time of listing should be given to those patients, and 28 exception points after 6 months of listing should be given, and then it can be increased on every 6 months, and the maximum score can be 34 points. Again, there is another modification in year 2018 which has not been accepted widely, but this is the proposed modification, at least which has shown that at the time of initial listing they should get MELD score of 6, and in adult patients they should be given MELD score of 3 points below the maximum MELD at the time of transplantation. In pediatric patients who were at the time of listing were less than 18 years or less than 12 years, they should be given 40 MELD score. So who are the patients who are excluded from giving exception points? The patients with worse tumor biology, they should be excluded from giving exception points. Patients beyond Milan criteria, and patients who has got portal vein or macrovascular invasion, and patients with alpha-fetoprotein more than 1000 should not be included, should not be considered for MELD exception. Then when to deny these exceptions? Whenever the candidate is beyond T2 criteria, we should not be giving exception to those patients, and patients less than T1 also, or stage 1 should not be given exception points, and who has got a alpha-fetoprotein level less than or equal to 1000 on initial request, but subsequently which rise above 1000, they should be excluded from giving from being given MELD exception points. The candidates with alpha-fetoprotein level less when it is greater than 1000, but that subsequently falls to below 500 after local regional therapy, they should be considered for MELD exceptions as long as they are maintaining that low alpha-fetoprotein level. And if the candidate's tumor has been resected, they should not be given, and that means they have undergone hepatectomy, they should not be given MELD exception points. Other indications with low MELD, we are going to just briefly discuss these points because this is itself is a separate presentation. Budd-Chiari syndrome is usually associated with low MELD because of the other complications that happens with these patients. And before listing these patients for MELD exceptions, we should ensure failed medical management, etiology of the disease, that is hypercoagulable state, should be decided. Any contraindication for TIFs or failure of TIFs should be noted, and hepatic hydrothorax requiring thoracentesis more than 1 liter per week, at least for 4 weeks, should be considered. Other indications has been there, like Rotterdam index, which should be considered in these patients who has got worse prognosis and needs liver transplantation. This is hepatic epithelial hemangioendothelema. Few words about this disease. This is not usually associated with cirrhosis, so these are the indication. I'm not going to discuss it further. Portopulmonary hypertension. This candidates receive MELD exception score of 22 and PEL score of 28 in view of low median survival, 1 year survival. Refractory ascites, it has been given MELD exceptions on individual center basis, and in general this is not given MELD exceptions, and hence refractory ascites being one of the determinant of decreased survival, median survival, should be considered as an independent factor before considering for liver transplantation. So coming to how to prioritize patients with low MELD patients, I could not find much article regarding how to go about the liver transplantation, but in general the approach has been the low MELD patients, they can have either live donor liver transplantation or the expanded criteria donation in DC donor liver transplantation can also be matched for those patients in addition to the normal donor graft. Coming to one study which is published in year 2020 in Nature, this study by a French group, they try to see how the donor quality index can be matched with the score. This is a French study from 2009 to 2014, a huge number of patients, and low MELD score has been defined as less than 15 and medium MELD 15 to 30. And what they have found is that high risk grafts, that is low quality grafts, provided a significant survival benefit in patients with low and medium MELD patients and all patients with SCC as a primary indication for liver transplantation. So as you see in this graph, the low MELD patient and the medium MELD patients, low donor quality index, that is associated with even low donor quality index, that is higher score of, and that means the poor quality of graft is also associated with increased survival. And the same survival advantage is maintained in patients for SCC. As you see here, the hazards ratio is again lower in case of the low quality donor grafts. Coming to another study, the utility of low MELD patients and live donor liver transplantation. This is from A2ALL group. In this study, what they have found is that patients with LDLT, patients with MELD sodium of 15 or less than 15, they have got a survival curve which is far significantly better than patients who are waiting on the list. So the 5-year mortality and relative risk mortality, that is hazards ratio, according to the MELD score, at first potential living donor evaluation of transplant candidates without SCC has shown that the MELD scores of 6 to 10, 11 to 14 and 15 to 19, up to this there is a survival advantage of LDLT than waiting in the list, which has got a hazards ratio of 0.42. That advantage was also seen in the MELD score of 20 plus, but when we come to the confidence interval, that was just borderly significant. So coming to the LDLT and low MELD and exceptions, and this is one of the review article I could found. What they have found is that two situations where LDLT poses an added advantage over DDLT in patients with low MELD is the first patient with SCC who has got low MELD score and waiting period is reduced and the outcome is equally good in those patients. And other patients who have got low MELD score and would benefit from LDLT are those patients with who should be given MELD exception points because of the other parameters like quality of life and advanced disease necessitating liver transplantation in those patients. Otherwise, this patient would have to wait longer period and to get a deceased donor graft. Coming to the IL-based data regarding patients who got transplanted, total number of patients transplanted is 720 patients till December 2020, and LDLT obviously accounts for majority of those patients, and etiology wise these are the etiological distribution, and CLD and accounts for majority of those patients, followed by SCC and ACLF. So MELD stratification of those patients with CLD is 641 patients, with majority of the patient has got higher MELD as per the crude definition that we saw in previous literature as we described. The patients with low MELD square only accounts for 25% of all patients in a center who is predominantly performing live donor liver transplantation. And this is the demographic picture of those 161 patients, that is 25% of the patients. The average MELD score again in this is 15. That would be again considered as high MELD as per most of the studies. The graft weight is 680 gram, GRWR 0.93. This is the range. The median hospital stay is 23. A good hospital stay considering these patients. And 90-day mortality is 10%, that is approximately 90% survival in those patients, 3 months survival. Coming to etiology of MELD patients, ethanol was the major etiology in all those patients, followed by hepatitis B and NASH-related cirrhosis. Coming to hepatocellular carcinoma, this paper has been accepted for publication by Sir and Dr. Piyush Channa. This is 53 number of patients has been transplanted for hepatocellular carcinoma, and the median age is 52. The MELD score is average MELD score in these patients is 18. That is again too high in comparing when we look at the etiology of hepatocellular carcinoma. And decompensation was present in 81% of the patient. This is the difference between our center and in most of the Western center, where the decompensation is not that common in patients who are transplanted for hepatocellular carcinoma. The number of decompensation, the various decompensation ascites was the predominant decompensation, and the number of decompensation was 2 in 35% of the patients. So to summarize my presentation, I would say MELD is not the only holy grail of deciding regarding transplantation. MELD exceptions should be taken into consideration depending upon the disease etiology. And median survival in decompensated cirrhosis of several decompensation that we have discussed should be taken into account when we consider regarding need of liver transplantation, not the MELD sodium alone. The patients with SCC with low MELD merits either LDLT or LDLT or DDLT. Definitely LDLT has an advantage on its side in terms of timing the transplantation. MELD and matching the quality of graft are the key, but not much evidence on this, but still this is generally considered by all transplant surgeons to match the quality, particularly in deceased donor setting. Thank you.